phone.
Oh no! Well, even if they call, it still will let me stay on, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
so you said it's a 50-50 chance you may go.
Yeah.
And may take your car.
They take my car.
Okay.
You know, we sometimes we may have issues where, you know, drivers or part of your camp don't want to, go out like that. You know what I'm saying? To different events, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm pushing it.
Right.
You know, because I do want to support. Because at the end of the day, without support, you're nothing.
So, what made you not decide to drive your own car?
Honestly, I got to get the feeling of driving my car. Learn the street. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of going down the track or driving the car, but I have to learn the trick, and I have to learn of the vehicle. Yeah, I can get in a Corvette and drive it on the street like it's no problem, but that track is something different.
Right.
You know, got to go out, look for oil spills, water spills. Make sure you're in the groove. Have a good support team with you. You know, hey,
right.
You got to learn the pros and the cons of the game.
Right. What made you decide to go with a G-Body versus any other type of car?
I always loved the G-Body. My first car was a 1979 Maz.
Wow.
It was a Pontiac Grand Lamont first car. It was yellow, and I always liked the two-door cars. You know, I ain't no big fellow. You know, it fit perfect. So, you know, when I looked at this car, I heard Carlo, I said to myself, it's either gonna be the Monte Carlo or Regal. So I did a little running around and research. I gained more interest in Monte Carlo.
Okay. So speaking of, you said, you mentioned that you were good friends with Lowe. What made you decide to go with Team Hollywood to build your car?
Numerous reasons. One, I wanted to go to LS.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they're rivals, and Hollywood was his kryptonite. I mean, it's hard for them to get around them. You know? Well, nobody don't want to be a loser. You know what I'm saying? You know, want to have some type of advantage. So, shit, they proven, I would be proven too. You know what I mean? So, and I'm cool with them too as well. So, you know, I'm more like, I'll be a part of that, you know.
So that's what made you decide to knock on the big door.
Knocked on that mother. I put my, you know what I'm saying? I put my.
Look, 250 to my good answer.
Hey, when I went to go holler, right? CK, first, I wasn't finna do the game. I was, you know, 6-0 block, and nice cam, you know, spin the tires, let's go. So, you know, I did my little research. I ended up putting like 8,000-9,000 out first time.
Right.
And I'm sitting at Hollywood shop one day, Lee's over there, working on a couple cars. I said, what is it going to take for me to have that name out there? You know what I mean? And for them to say, that boy, first thing came out, this shit ain't cheap, boy. And I said, man, money, you know what I'm saying? I said, man, what does it take for me to get there? Hollywood say, come on. I came and hollered at him, right, motherfucker had a list about this long. He say, go get this, and I'm going to show you what to do. Hollywood thought I was bullshit. Feel me? Now you get his ass up there. Hollywood thought I was bullshit because I went and took care of everything to do. And it kind of shocked him because he's still dealing with clients that he's still waiting on them to either bring money or take care of these parts. You know what I mean? So once he seen that I did what I did, he say, "Damn, boy, you say we got to go see the big dog." You know what I mean? And that's victory power. So we went over there, we seen him. He took care of everything for me. So, shout out to Hollywood Power. They stood up in the paint. You know, he told me, he gave me time. Hey, man, I got to in front of you. Got patience. I'm gonna get what, you know, within about. You can hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Within about 4 weeks, he called me and told me I'd be ready in 2 days. You know what I mean?
Now that's dope.
And he handled that business. And by Hollywood and them being so busy, you know, and being impatient to the game, this is something that I had to realize as a person that's creating a bill. These shops can only take so much. You feel what I'm saying? They say I'm going in. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. I can hear you.
These shops can only take so much. And, you know, he had a few cars in there. And, you know, I made a few corners that I turned, you know, just to get in position to have my car ready by a certain period of time. Because,
right.
You know, during that time, the trade event, you know, all the heavy hitters was going to be there. And, you know, I wanted to be a part of that.
Right.
And I kind of pushed a little bit too hard because, you know, I'm a determined person. So right. I set a goal for myself. That's what I'm going to stick on. And, you know, we got out there and my trans brake wasn't working. Didn't have nitrous on my car. You know what I mean? And I think I still made a good pass that day for the car. First time ever getting out there. I mean, so it gave me potentials that the vehicle did have. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of when Hollywood gave you that list, did it surprise you? Where you had an idea on what it was going to cost, but when you got in, were you surprised?
Hey, KP, I was going to call you and take on your retirement funds, baby. Hey, shoot something over here. Oh, man, you know, being in a position to carry your own weight is a beautiful thing, you know, but at the end of the day, this shit ain't cheap. It is not cheap, you know, and frustrations took over a little bit more than the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when he gave me that list, I was knocking it off, and it was more pleasing to me, and all honesty, that I got everything I could get.
Right.
And you know, we made it happen.
Right. So, speaking of everything that you had to get, okay. You care to talk to us a little bit about the car? What can we? I know you ain't gonna tell us what you got, but just talk to us a little bit about what we can expect.
You can expect greatness. Okay. A part of the team, for one. My demeanor, the person that I am, you know, people that know me, I know how to deal with me, know how I full potentials, good potential. You know? It's a lot of people out here have high expectations of me, and it's my job, my honor, to support my expectations and fulfill it. I don't think we're gonna have no hiccups.
Okay.
Only hiccups that we may have is something, right? And that's just a part of the game.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you when I first met you, right? You know, I told somebody, I can't even remember who it was. I said, you know what? Detroit, I don't care what nobody say. He in the mob. He just handle himself like a mob guy. I said, if he ain't now, in his former life, he was in the mob.
Hey, man. It might have been my rubbing off, you know?
Man, it's like S.S. Sean say, it got to be in you, not on you, and it's definitely in you.
Yeah.
It's definitely in you.
I'm not portraying to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
how do you feel about the people in the car culture and in most specifically in big rim racing that what's a good word to use? They say it's a lot of capping in big rim racing. What?
A lot of capping in big rim, and a lot of people put themselves on a pedestal or put themselves out more than what they are. Just be you.
Right.
I mean, and at the end of the day, someone is going to like you just for being you. No matter what it is, you know. Every winner don't get a lot of losers get more likes because a person that's being arrogant, you know what I mean? And that takes away from the culture too, the arrogance of a person. You know what I'm saying? You can just be you, and you know, nothing wrong with you for yourself. But I believe, let the car do the talking. You know, I feel like somebody's trying to bash me, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Yeah, I respect because I read as I go. You know what I mean? And I generate what the person said. You know, just like how you answering me questions right now.
Yeah. You keep going in and out. I'm not sure what's going on with your phone.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, you good.
I might have to put it up. I had it on a little stand.
Why do you think it's so hard for us to not see as much racing in big rim racing as we can see in like the no guts, no glories, the things like that? Why do you think it's so hard for us to see racing?
It's enough cars for the racing.
Uh-huh.
Okay? But it's the camps. And the reason why I say it's the camps is because a lot of people have full potential in being at these events and racing, but it's not enough people in the camp to do all this lead work. Some people, like, I'm going to give you a prime example. Bruce, you feel me? He has help, as in 2 or 3 helpers, but he's a one-man army. You feel what I'm saying? Hollywood and them team are built on a team. You feel me? Big Low. Before Eddie came around, it was just him. Oscar, you know, as a motor builder, but the pros and the con and the specs to it was really low. Right. Now he got Eddie on his team. Now he got Kev on his team. You know, he got more help to where he can put out more cars to come around to race. You know, and that's what take away from the game. The money does sometimes, but at the end of the day, these was heavy hitters from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? They let the money talk. You know, can't take nothing away from that because, hey, let's put 2 on 10. That 10 may turn to 30 and 40 because they have a handful of guys that's with them that's willing to put up $3,000-$4,000 a piece, and it adds up, and that's in every count.
Right.
You know, and that's the reason why I really think that it's, you know, it's different from the grudge racing. And then the grudge racing, we're outnumbered.
Right.
We're very much so outnumbered. You know what I mean? To where, like, Big Low event coming up this weekend. Low got heavy hitters coming to these events.
It's going to be a lot of people.
Yes. You know what I mean? And this is what the culture needs for both sides. Right. You know, that's why Low trying to give it a little flavor to have a little bit of the big rim racing involved as well. You know, you got to be on slicks. But mainly, that would this weekend is going to change the game. Like, honestly.
Why do you think in our culture in big rim racing, is so much personal business involved versus just because I see it. I don't get involved in it, of course, but I couldn't lie to you and say I don't see it.
Okay.
What does my personal business have to do with me racing?
It's a lot of hate.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hate. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of people that want to be in position to do what other people are doing and they can't. You know what I mean? So by them not being able to do what the other person is doing that's in position, they'll throw all types of stuff in the game. Bring up personal issues, go to talking about the money. You know what I mean? And what does it do? It turns south. It goes a different direction. You know what I mean? To speak on something that was spoken on earlier today pertaining to the situation about camps being paid and stuff like that. My personal opinion, not because I'm involved with this camp. Feel me? And I'm going to speak for all the heavy hitters. You know what I mean? If you're a promoter in this game, be prepared to pay these people to come to your events. You're paying these people to come to your event. The fans want them to come to the event. See, a lot of the fans speak on them as in, like we had the conversation earlier about why they charge them money to come to these events, right? Now, let me tell you how this don't make no sense. Why wouldn't I pay nobody to come to an event and I'm charging a person to come through the gate? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just like entertainment. You think that they're going to throw a concert and not going to have you come in there and pay for refreshments? They're not going to have you pay for parking? They're being accounted for something, and why can't the other person be accommodated for something? You know what I mean? And everybody has a price on it. Everybody do. You think John Forrest or the dudes from the Outlaws, I could pick the phone up and call one of those guys and tell them I need them to come out here and just because I'm cool with them, to come out here and host a show?
They're going to say, let me send you my contract.
There you go. You know what I mean? And he's also going to explain to you, hey, man, me and your friendship is good, but, hey, I know you got potential to have a sold-out crowd. What is going to be my percentage?
Right.
He has to, keep a crown over his head and a belt across his damn, his waistline. You know what I mean? Right.
So do you feel like, so I guess you feel like it's fair to say if I need these people at my show, each one of them should get paid to show up. Well, how about when they get paid to show up and the races don't happen?
I don't mean to cut you off. Okay. One out of the blue. You see that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's been making a statement talking about grudge racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been making a statement talking about big rim racing.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different sports. And the reason why it's two different sports, the big rim racing is like the LeBron James, and the grudge racing is like a Michael Jordan. You feel me? To where it was this person that made the example, now it's this person making the new example, to where the game is changing. It's more money being spent in the big rim racing right now than the grudge racing. And that's a fact. Because these guys have been $30,000 and $40,000. Or maybe more. They take the game and downplay the people that want to get paid for these shows. That's not right. Because everybody that's voicing their opinion right now on these people getting paid for what they're doing, they're not putting a dime in it. Only time that they putting in the KP is probably the expense that they going to the show. $25, $100 at the gate. You know what I mean? That's for the promoter to pay for the people that's coming to their event. You throw you a show, KB, you book the event. I'm gonna tell you what I want. If it's agreeable to you, you see this guy, Jack of all trades. That's the guy that introduced me to the race. Okay, that's the guy. You feel what I'm saying? But if I done made a name for myself and I want to be accommodated and paid, I'm gonna let you know what I want to be accommodated and paid.
Right.
You know, and
so do you think that because in the past I have heard, I don't get involved in it because I don't have plans to throw a show at this time because I feel like I might not be able to afford to pay everybody to pull up. But do you feel like I've heard in the past that there's a problem with how much people feel like they should get paid to pull up the show?
Nobody can put a price on you but the promoter and you.
I agree.
That's it. Because if Future comes, if I want Future at an event and I need for him to come out and do a venue, he's going to tell me $120,000. If I want the Migos as them a group, they want $240.
Right.
I can't tell them I got 160 or 180.
Right.
They can go elsewhere that knowing that they're going to get the money 100%, 110%.
Right. I agree. You definitely can't nobody put a price on you, but
nobody put a price on you. Not the fans, not nobody. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the fans are the critics, and 70% of it is based off of who did they want to see in the racing and who want to line up because we need their support. You know what I mean? No matter what the situation is. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna put my price on me. And if it doesn't work out to that, or the best ability for me, hey, I move on. You know what I mean? I go on to something that I can gain something off of. I can't go out there knowing that I got a $70,000, $80,000 bill and literally go and race for $500.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I have to pay my driver 10% of that. What, I'm gonna give him $50 for driving the car?
Right.
I don't want to spend this fuel in my car. That cost me $200-$300.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the other thing, when like somebody mentioned it in the comments, when you pay Migos them to whatever, they're gonna perform.
Right.
Sometimes people get to these shows and they don't perform.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Boys being boys, he up there playing hard and to fill off that bed. I had to, go check on little one. But yeah, back to what we were saying.
You were saying, I was saying that when Migos, when you pay them to whatever, they're gonna perform when they get there.
Yes. Okay. And I agree with the fans on that part of them not coming out there to perform due to the fact of before I got involved in the racing, I've been to numerous shows on my dollar to where I didn't see what I was expected to see.
Right.
Yes, I voiced my opinion and said, damn, it's fucked up.
Right.
And it is kind of fucked up for the fans not getting what they paid to see.
Right.
And the promoter then got what? 100% of their money with no show.
Right.
So I feel as though if you're going out here to race, have your shit together. And if you're going out here to race, I think the promoters should come up with a game plan to penalize the fucking drivers and the owners of the cars.
So you're thinking there should be like a break clause or something like that in the contract?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's a penalty on the person that they're paying to come to their show.
Right.
You feel me? Like if I throw a show, and this is just me. If I throw a show and I go out there and I got 12 races lined up, 11 races lined up, and I go out there and only give these people 2 races, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. The money that I probably made off of the parking, every car going back out the gate would get something. Plain and simple.
Right.
Because I would want to show them my appreciation for them coming and them not being robbed of their money. So on the next event, I will have my shit together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And have whoever I booked together.
Right. So they're saying that sometimes it's the prep as well. Sometimes it's not just the drivers.
Okay.
It's the prep.
They're right. Because I've been to shows where these people will have a sold out event, but won't have that prep together.
Right.
You feel me? If I'm doing the event, I'm going to take, the first thing is to make sure the track is prepped.
Right.
You know, what they call them, sticky mafia or whatever, them people.
Mm-hmm.
That make sure your track is straight. That's first and foremost. Then I'm going to go out there and spend my money and get them heavy hitters. And put my shows in places where it's universal to everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't just throw shows just for Florida. I would move around to get that money.
So, speaking of that, speaking of Florida, how do you feel about Walmart purchasing West Palm West Palm track?
That's something that had been going on for a minute. That wasn't something that happened overnight. You know what I mean? Contractors, lawyers reached out to West Palm Beach way before we even knew about this.
Right.
Now we have to go further north. We're going to Bradenton. We're going to Orlando.
Is Bradenton an 8 mile or a quarter-mile track?
Quarter-mile.
Okay.
Now we're going further up in the game to where it would be what a lot of people ask for.
Right. So it was it wasn't by choice, it was by force.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? So now the fans are really finna get what they want. You know what I'm saying? From different camps that they out here, hard on right now. Now it's time to, take that little 3.5-hour trip. The Florida guys going from down south to up north, to Orlando, to Bradenton, South Georgia. My personal opinion about Reynolds track, they need to dig that track up and redo it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if they redo that track, they'll be good. Mm-hmm. The other track, the Late Night and Tony go to, that's a good track, but it's only an 8-mile track.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a good track. It's clean. People getting down it. I haven't seen, and they not even putting no heavy prep down on that track, but it's still sticking where they're getting down from A to B. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess that means we'll be seeing your car.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to learn how to drive my car. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of it. Sunshine track. I'm not afraid of it. I like I say, I just have to learn the light. You know what I'm saying? I have to read the track a little bit better. Need to start doing shows at House of Hook. I agree with that. A+ track. I agree with that. I've been to that track before. Very good track. Macon got a good track too, and Twigs, but they only 8-mile tracks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Very excellent tracks. When I went out there, I even talked to the guy at Macon about throwing the event out there. He said he had no problem with it, but it's an 8-mile track.
Right.
And he owns all them acres over there.
Wow.
He could build another track. And that was black owned once before too. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But, the guy that owned it had to end up selling it due to, he was involved in the situation.
Next question. If Hollywood wasn't available to drive your car, would you let Primo drive?
That's a good question. And the money was on the line?
Yeah.
But I still got other options, though.
You got Sun.
I got Sun and I got Macho.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Macho, yeah.
You know, I got Sun and I got Macho. You know what I mean?
So if none of them were available,
would I let him drive my car?
Yeah.
And the money was on the line and I knew he could drive my in particular car? Yeah.
Right.
I would.
Yeah, because he's a G-body driver, so.
Exactly. I would. You know what I'm saying? I would.
So, of course, you know, the people that laugh and joke with you all the time had some questions.
And my partner Goose can drive too. I can't leave him out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So the people that laugh and joke with you had questions.
All right.
So they said not to say who asked this, but I'm pretty sure when I asked, you're gonna know. They said, what's the trick to making babies at 52?
All right, first of all, 42. Second of all is, you know, I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke anymore. I haven't had a drink or smoke in the past 6 years. You know, having a good woman keep you up. Fuck it.
Just gotta have a willing participant, right?
Yeah.
So Star Mac asked that, so I'm gonna tell.
Oh, okay. I talk to him every night too. I got it.
He all said, right. Don't tell you, but I'm gonna spill the beans.
That's my best with you. All right.
So Detroit, I wanted to tell you one thing that I really, really respect about you. As far as me.
Okay.
And this is the sentiment of a lot of other people. I feel like with me and with a lot of other people, you've always been just straight up. Sometimes a little rough around the edges, but you've always just been straight up. And you never have come at me in a disrespectful way. I don't know if I've ever really seen you disrespect anybody unless they disrespected you first.
Yeah. One thing about me, I'm a little bit of an aggressive person, but
a little bit.
That's just you know, I was raised to be a man. You know what I mean? I was raised to, you know, talk with my chest. You know.
But did you say you was a little bit aggressive?
Yeah, I said a little bit. You know, because I ain't. You know, I'm not gonna. Little me a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But you know, just being me and the people that I've been raised by and things that I have seen in my lifetime where, you know, I have to know the values of life. You know what I mean? And know how to deal with people and not to deal with people. I've been in situations where I didn't dealt with a situation where it was overheated. I didn't dealt with a situation where I didn't walked away from it. You know? And, you know, it's just good and bad to everybody. You know what I mean? And majority of the people that know me, they will tell you I'm the same person at all times.
Someone asked, are you still selling the 442 or are you going to keep it?
50-50. You know, I've been, it is. People have made me a few offers, but you know, the value of the car, a lot of my good friends tell me to keep it as long as I can keep it. You know, I told one of my good friends, Kirk, that be on, I want my son to have his own. I don't want to imply him with that I've had for my child. You know what I mean? Because in today's atmosphere and today's technology, there's new things around.
You're right.
Back in our day. You know what I mean? So, you know, let him be his own person.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to hand him down, you know, the jewels and, you know, whatever I could leave him behind and things of that nature. But I want him to write his own book.
What is the one thing that you wish you had known when you first got into this car culture, into these big rim racing? What is one thing you said, damn, I wish I'd have known this when I first got involved?
One thing.
Other than the money.
Okay. Other than the money, I would have to say, damn, you got me with that one. Shit being buzzard. You know, and it's not going as planned. You know, that's one thing that I really try to stay away from in this game. That's why you haven't been really seeing me go to a lot of shows lately. Right. Feel me? Because I feel like my money is valued just like their money is valued, and what they what you know what they want. You know what I mean? Right. It's just like you going to a boxing match. You got Floyd Mayweather, but if you're a real boxer kind of steward to know how Floyd Mayweather box, you know it's not going to be a real show. Right. You know what I mean? He's going in there to get points, get the bag, and get going. Right. So don't expect no knockout or none of that. Right. You know what I mean? Right. You can expect the high baller to be there. You feel me? You can expect them type of people to be there. You can be able to network with people. You know what I mean? But that's one of the things that I would say. You know what I mean? There's a lot of portrait and potato salad at times. You know.
What advice would you? Let me see what their question was. What advice would you give to any up and coming G bodybuilder?
Do not rush.
That was for me. Thank you. I needed it.
Do not rush. And you had this conversation.
I know.
Do not rush.
I just said I was going to sell the car today.
Listen, I've been home being a chef lately, Mr. Always cooking those. Sometimes I go live with it, sometimes I don't. But that would be one of the things, you know what I mean? Because it's just like my first little build. I was rushing. I wanted to be a driver and things of that nature. I got a whiff to this racing, you know, like I told you from my partner, but when I started more and more things, I was just like, you know what? Let's try it. You know what I mean? And yeah, my other half would be like, I don't know what you did that stupid ass shit for anyway. You know? But her support is there for me, you know what I mean, to go out to these tracks. She goes with me sometimes, you know. Sometimes I can see her frustration. She be highly anticipated to see races too. You know what I mean? Because why? She done been on the internet. She done heard them shit talk. She done heard them say it's going down on this day. Hey, shit. She done put on her best Nikes and say, shit, I'm walking the track too. Like,
she'll learn. She'll learn.
She's learning. She's learning now. You know.
Someone asked, what's your favorite dish to cook in the kitchen?
My favorite dish. What would that be, baby? She said king crab legs.
Look, I seen that the other day. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I love seafood, but my favorite dish to cook, I got an old soul. Give me some fried chicken, some black eyed peas, some rice and some cornbread, and I'm good to go.
So we on the same page on that.
Yeah.
Followed closely by some seafood.
Yeah, we me and her go out of town, man. We make sure we find the restaurants. You know what I mean? Even when, you know, I ain't never really had the experience to go out of town with Hollywood and them, but besides Georgia, like going or stuff like that. But like, Big Low, my dog Buck, especially the twins, me and them vibe heavy. You know, we go to a lot of places together. We go eat. Uh-huh. And we make sure we hit all the soul food restaurants. You know what I mean?
Next time you're up here, I got a spot to tell you about. Okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay, for sure. Get them collars. And can't forget them collars of that cabbage.
What would you like for your fans, followers, supporters? What would you like to tell them? What would you like for them to know about Ongo that they don't already know? Because I feel like you're a lot of open book with us. Like that's one thing I respect too. Like you ain't gonna tell everything, but we gonna know 75% of it.
They getting it though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I give it to them on a daily. You know what I mean? I got a positive side to me. I got a good mentor side to me. You know what I mean? And it's rubbed off from a lot of people that I've dealt with, even on social media. Like, believe it or not, you know, they say that you can meet somebody today and be closer than them than you was closer with the person 10, 20 years. You know, and I'm a firm believer in that. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people have rubbed off on me in a good way, you know, to see that side of me. You know what I mean? And then when I let these people touch me in the wrong way, I get a phone call. Man, what you got going on? Man, hang that live up. Do this, do that. And I can't do nothing but respect it because they mean well towards me. You know what I mean? And my lady as well, you know, she'll snap in a minute. You letting them do that? Oh, that's how you doing it? You know? So we changed the game quick. You know what I mean? But I am who I am. I'm not who they portray or try to label people as. You know what I mean? I'm not giving them anything fabricated.
What would you like for your legacy to be when you're no longer around? What would you like for your legacy to be?
I would like for my legacy to be greatness. Most definitely well respected. You know, if I got a well respected part, I know I got somebody that put a flower on my grave. You know what I mean? Or put a love and memory up of me saying that I was thought about. You feel?
I'll tell you what I think it will be.
What would that?
I think it'll be whether they feel like it's good or bad, they'll always be able to say Detroit was a stand-up guy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You got to keep it player.
Anyway. So tell the fans where we can catch you next, what's going on, what you got, when we going to see the car, what's coming.
Hey, man, y'all might see me this weekend, man.
Mike?
Yeah, it's you know, like Jeezy said, it's an 80 chance of snow, you know. So, you know, it's my 80%. You know, I got a good phone call in today. You know, my tires should be here later on this evening. My slicks. You know, I have tested my car. You know, with these hard tires and things of that nature. You know, it's time to see what the real performance of the car is. You know, I'm ready to give it all it got.
Well, I can't wait to see the car. I can't wait to see. I'm excited to see you. You know what I think y'all should do? I think y'all should have an amateur driver. Like, I think y'all should have an amateur driver shootout. People like you, because you see, I seen CC in his car the other day, or whatever day that was. So people like you, CC, Rose, Fly, yeah, just amateur drivers. Not disrespectful, but y'all amateur drivers. Y'all don't know.
Hey, and that'll be something for the good though.
So put it together. You know you that mama that go that man. Put it together.
Hold on. I was just finna say his name, and he pop up talking about you dead sucker. Soon as you come out, I was finna say I'm gonna get with my partner late night and see what he can do at that 8th mile track because it ain't the quarter mile, so we ain't got to get crazy. But late night I'm gonna be knocking on your door, and that's for sure, man.
Well, Detroit, this was a fun interview. You know, a lot of people been looking. I ain't gonna say you've been dodging me. I won't say that.
No, because you know you called me and I told you, hey, I got you.
I would just say I was trying to give you time to get the cars together, to get everything together, to get past the birth of your son. And by the way, I know it's late still, but congratulations, he's growing like a little sprout. He like almost 25 now, right?
Hey, for real. You ain't joking now. It'll be one in October, man. You know, time this year has went extremely fast based on us being at home, the pandemic, things of that nature. But me being around my kids And this is the enlightenment about me. You know, people that be involved in different relationship and may have a baby mama or two, and things don't work out with that baby mama to where you see more into the relationship you're in now by raising your child is one of the most beautiful things in the world. You know what I mean? All my kids are hands-on with me. You know, even my problem child. You know what I mean? But me and her are coming around for better. You know what I mean? And as the days grow, our flowers are growing. So,
right, because when you know better, you do better. Like, I feel like the older we get, the more in tune we are with what's really important. Like, think about when you were 21. When you were 21, things that were important then ain't nowhere near as important now. You're like, even the friends you had when you was 21.
Yeah.
Some of them you wouldn't dare be around now. Because you know they're not conducive to what you're trying to do with your life. But I gotta say, not like I was with you shooting in the gym, so I ain't know you when you was young. But I have to say, like, from my experience, ever since I met you, you've been a stand-up guy, and you ain't been on no, like. It's one thing to be around men and they be on some weird stuff, like trying to talk to you backhandedly, knowing they got a lady. I appreciate the fact that I've never seen that happen with you. You always only try to ever give me advice in a positive way, even though I know you was in the mob in your former life. But you always only ever gave me positive advice. You always only been like, KP, listen, you can't do that. You got to do this. I was like, Detroit, shut up.
Yeah. In the same way I would take your advice. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. So I got to agree with a lot of the comments. They said that this was a great interview. I really had a blast talking to you. I'm going to go ahead and ask you in front of all these people. Okay. Can I ask you back at some point?
Absolutely.
Once you done won a couple 200 races.
Give me at least 2 good races in, and I done knocked somebody off, man. You know, I might be knocking at your door asking you what time the interview start. You know what I mean? I'm gonna answer this question right here, Aubrey. I've asked her that, and she's not scared to drive no car. You know what I mean? I asked her. I said, "You want to try to drive the car? You want to try to race the car?" But I would try to probably start off with something that's smaller. You know what I mean? To where something will be built around her. You know what I mean? Start her off on something like 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower. You know what I mean? And let her learn that car, you know. But I think that she would be a very good candidate. I do. Because she's like me. She's a determined person.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. And you know what? We got to respect and love her for keeping you in line. Because I swear to God, that can't be easy. I swear. Tell her I said big shout out to her because I swear.
She Yeah.
So, Detroit, I appreciate you coming on today. It was really a blast. And I agree with the comments. This was a great interview. You were like really, it was a pleasure having you. Not a slight to anybody else, but it was a real pleasure having you. Because even though, you know what I'm saying, even though you're a G, you still kept it all the way player, like you say. You kept it player.
Before I go, I'm here for the culture. I'm not here for BS. You feel me? And a lot of people need to start putting emphasis on that. You know what I mean? Some days don't need drama. Some days need love. Some days need laughter. You know what I'm saying? You need to congratulate certain people. Feel what I'm saying? Like how you throwing your show right now and you're having me on here. Hey, tomorrow you can just have a show just for celebration of the culture. You know what I mean? And I think if we can get a lot of that going on and a lot of people joining hands instead of putting your shoulder to shoulder, this game will be more than what it is. We are the value, first of all. We are the value, you know. And to have another opponent, I mean, I'm not going to say opponent, another person on the outside looking in to see what we have going on, to come and capture our dreams or our vision or something that we're a part of. Hey, we can do it on the same common ground. You know what I mean? It's just like how our ancestors and stuff were captured by other people. You know what I mean? Once they got free and they recognized who they were unstoppable.
Right.
You know, and that's something that we got to stand on to be unstoppable. You know?
You're right. I agree. Like I say, I really am the type of person that believes in giving people their flowers while they are here. And I'm more err on the side of positivity. You know, I run away from the negative. I don't have time for that. But
I got you, Lo.
See, I really appreciate that you. I appreciate you guys allowing me to pick your brains, to ask you the questions that I ask you, and you guys being open books to answer the questions. Because you don't have to do this. That's why I start every interview with thank you for allowing us to, for coming on the show and allowing us to ask you questions.
Well,
so is there anything else?
People that respect you, KP, and know the type of value of a person that you are to offer to this game, because like I said, when I first started this conversation with you about me being a fan, me traveling on my own dime, doing this, doing that, you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Your sponsor is yourself. You know, yeah, you might get an open hand or somebody say, hey, KP, I got you at the gate. Or, hey, KP, I'll take care of your parking. You know what I mean? Or somebody might say, KP, hey, I'm going to pay for your flight to get out here, because they know that you are of value to this game.
Right.
So, you need your flowers too, and I thank you too.
Thank you, Detroit.
For sure.
Boy, listen, let me tell you something. You know what? This was a great interview. I'm very rarely almost speechless. You know, I ain't gonna never stop talking. But I'm almost speechless. This was a great interview.
You got your boy on here.
This got me top 5. I'm gonna give it top 5. But Detroit, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. We really appreciate you. And yeah, I'm gonna get you back on. I don't know when. It's gonna be after you done won about 200 or 300 races.
Okay, enough said.
All right, thank you. You have a great day.
Okay, you too.